So recently, Native Instruments put out a blog about 5 free vocal libraries for Contact. We're going to go over a few of those in this video, so let's check that out. First of all, we're going to look at the blog a little bit just to show a little bit about what they covered, because I'm not going to cover all the libraries they talk about for one reason or another. But the first one up is the Dave Choir. This one is, I believe all these you do have to sign up for an email thing. I know that's kind of annoying, but for free, I don't mind doing it. Just give them an email that you don't check often, I guess, if you're worried about that. Personally, I kind of like to get offers because from some of these companies, because they do send out some good stuff every now and then. So I don't really mind. I just give them an old Yahoo account and call it good, and I check that a couple times a week. But anyway, so the Dave Choir is the first one. Now, I wasn't able to get my hands on this one because I believe this is just one guy named Dave that puts this stuff together, and it was an email sign up, and he just hasn't seen the sign up yet. So, no big deal. I believe I've played around with some of this other guy's stuff. I believe he's also done a water glass video, the old where you wet your finger and rub it across a wine glass. I believe he did a library with that. So he actually does pretty good stuff for just being a guy that does this in his spare time. Let's see. Yeah, Dave Hillowitz, that's Dave Choir. I believe that's him. Rastsound Volkl Morphs 2. I've got this one downloaded. This one is, like it says, it's for electronic music, IDM, cinematic, ambient. When we jump over into Cubase, I'll play around with some of these so you can hear what they sound like. I just wanted to give a quick thing here. Sonicatour's Tape Choir. This is another one. I tried downloading it, and I can't get this one to work, and maybe I'll have better luck than I do, but I didn't pay for it, so that's fine. And then the Soundbetter Singers. There's 5 singers in this, as you can see on the little graphic there. And this is kind of interesting. If I understand this correctly, they put out this sample library with these singers to promote the vocalists at this company, so that if you want to use their samples here, you can, or if you just want to kind of sample your music with them and then hire Mickey or Thomas, you can do that. So I thought that's kind of a neat way to market. Just in the little bit I've played around with them, these would actually be pretty good for Enya-esque pop stacks, and you'll hear that here in a minute. Now, I think the shining star out of all of these is the Ivy Audio Claire solo. This is a pretty good solo library, especially being for free. I mean, it doesn't have all the nuances of an expensive library, and certainly not of a real live vocalist. But for a free library, there's some good stuff in here. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that blog post. Now let's jump into Cubase. Okay, so here we are in Cubase, and I'm showing Ivy Audio Claire Solo. Again, I think that's the shining star out of all these. The Distant Choir, the Volkl Morphs, and then the Soundbetter Singers. I'll quickly go through all 5 of them because there's not a whole lot of content to them. And again, I think they would be best used as Enya-esque pop stacks, but you'll see that here in a second. So anyways, I want to start with Claire here because I do think this is one of the better ones. So you can see it's a really simple interface. You have your typical, you can pick from a few halls and different sizes of the halls. You can play around with expression and dynamics. It looks like mod wheel controls dynamics, which makes sense and all that. I'm not going to mess with any of that. I figure if anybody cares, they can download this and play around with it. I just wanted to show the sounds because I think they're pretty good. So pretty good legato transitions between there. that's really good. I mean, that's something I think you could probably slap 30 or 50 bucks on there and people would buy it. Anyways, let's move on. I'm going to go through these kind of quickly because, again, they're free. If you want, you can download them and play with them yourself. I'm just, thought this was a neat idea since Native Instruments just did this. I thought I'd kind of piggyback off of them. All right, and so here we have Distant Choir, which has more features, but the samples, I wouldn't say they're quite as good as the Claire Audio, but so more of a full choir sound than the solo of Claire. You have a few different options in here to play around with. You have your key switches down here, and if you don't want to do the drop down. All right, let's move on. Okay, and these are the vocal morphs. So this is going to be a more eclectic collection of sounds. Again, you have a drop-down menu here with the different sounds. No key switches that I can find on here, though. Yeah, the key switches are there are no key switches, so you actually have to use the little drop-down menu. But again, you have all the switches and knobs that you can play around with if you want. I'm not going to bother with it. Sorry. It's not really meant to be a chord library, since the types of sounds change as you go up the keyboard, but probably find some uses for it. Let's try. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to go quickly through the Soundbetter Singers. The first one up is Mickey, and you have your different vocalists here. You just use the little knob. Again, there's no key switch that I can see on here for the sounds or the singers, but we're just going to stick to the soft, and I just loaded up different tracks with the different singers on it. We'll just go through them kind of quickly here. So you don't have the legato transitions like you had with Claire, which is kind of a shame, but maybe in like pop style music or R&B, maybe you wouldn't need it quite as often. And again, it's just to kind of promote these singers for you to hire them live. Thomas has a little bit more of a range on him than the others do. I think he's got the biggest range. Again, I think if you put some filters on them, you could get some Enya-esque pop stacks. That's probably what I would use them for if I used them. All right, on to Jessica. Scott. Well, I guess he's got some range on him too. So Scott and Thomas have, looks like about 2 octaves, a little over 2 octaves. Probably trying to play in the wrong kind of music than what they're intended for, but yeah, I'm playing what I know. And finally, we have Jordy with 3 eyes. Jord the Third. I don't know, but. Alright, so they're velocity sensitive, so that's good. Actually, I haven't played around with the mod wheel at all on these. Let's see if that works on anything. Nope. Well, I hope you found this interesting. I like to do these videos finding free anything I can find, whether it's plugins or instruments. Since I'm a film and game composer primarily, I mostly look for orchestral and choral type things. But anyways, I'm going to put a link below to this article that Native Instruments did, so if you want to go download any of these. I think out of all of these, Claire is the gem. That's the one I would go pick up just to have, especially if you're into film and game music. After that, the vocal morphs are interesting, and they might be fun to have to drop into some tracks. I'm going to play a tune here at the end featuring some of these instruments. Definitely the Claire solo. I've already actually written that part. I'm going through a part B of the tune now to see what else I might want to include, but Claire is definitely in there. So anyways, like I say, I do these videos, try to do 3 times a week. Mondays, I do music and gear news. I'll pop an eye up there in the corner now for you to check out this week's music and gear news. And other than that, I look for free libraries, free plugins. I try to find any interesting thing I can think of to cover in the world of music. So if you like that kind of thing, throw me a like, throw me a subscribe. I appreciate it. And we will see you on the next one.